Asobi!
Live.
Laugh.
Play.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of riView. I hate to make excuses, but this is a little bit late because I've been sick all week and I'm still recovering. I tried to do a neti pot thing and it just made it worse, and now Joey's here. He's walking under the around the camera. But who cares? I'm gonna do the fucking show anyway. Oh shit. FEZ is a 2.5-ish D open-world puzzle platformer created by the infamous Phil Fish and developed by Polytron, available on virtually every current-gen platform. The game has won several awards, including the Excellence in Visual Art Award at the 2008 Indie Games Fest, Audience Choice, Story and World Design, and Grand Jury Awards at Fantastic Arcade 2011, and finally the Seamus McNally Grand Prize at the 2012 IGF. This video is about FEZ, not its eponymous creator, Philippe Poisson. The man already has enough attention. He sought it in his own way, and got it in a way that only the internet could so fully and negatively realize. If you want to know more about him, you can check out Indie Game the Movie on Netflix, or, and by or I mean definitely, check out this fantastic case study, This is Phil Fish, over here somewhere. Just click on it. Other than being credited as the creator, I'm not totally sure of what Phil's involvement covered. I often coin little adages like exude confidence, resist arrogance, meaning there's nothing wrong with being good at something, internally confirming that about yourself, and then sharing your work with others. But you probably shouldn't be a dick about it. Without condemning or condoning, this game likely would have never existed without him. I mean, it's not like a life changer or anything. I guess I just tend to see the positive side of things and genuinely enjoyed this experience without ever once thinking about Phil. I have friends who won't touch this game in fear of financially supporting his perceivably reprehensible behavior. I will say this, if he had anything to do with coding the puzzles in the game, that guy is wicked smart. Or I'm just wicked dumb. The latter is far more likely, unfortunately. The game is riddled with hidden messages in its own proprietary alphabet, ingenious puzzles, and some pretty complex cryptography. There's a puzzle in particular known as the Black Monolith, that the internet was still racking its collective brains over for quite some time after the game's release. There's another pretty complex puzzle that literally does nothing but raise your completion percentage, which many speculate is a statement by the developers that not every room has to have a purpose, not every challenge a reward. It's certainly no small feat making an indie game, especially one that wound up being this successful and well-known. And more importantly, despite having formed my own opinion about Phil well before playing the game, when I finally did play it for myself, I was immediately spellbound and played for hours. It really is an incredible game, worthy of all awarded accolades. Again, in my most humble opinion. Alright, so I know I said this video wasn't going to be about Phil, but I do have a little side observation from me to add. Phil's Twitter avatar is a picture of the late comedian and performance artist Andy Kaufman, who is known for seeing pranks and jokes through beyond completion without ever revealing to his audience that it was all an act. Now, Phil likely has this picture up because Andy was a personal hero of his, or because his sideburns make him sort of a celebrity look-alike. But wouldn't it be crazy if it were actually supposed to be some sort of not-so-subtle hint that Phil's abrasive demeanor was actually some sort of long con, and the joke was actually on us the whole time? Nah, that's probably giving him way too much credit. At the beginning of the game, you take control of an adorable little creature named Gomez. I already feel as though I can identify with this character for some reason. Can't quite put my drumsticks on it. Just really feel like we have something in common. You leave your house and receive a summons from Geezer to meet him at the top of Villageville, where you then meet a gigantic golden idolic hexagon, which bestows you with a FEZ, the ability to see the world in a new dimension and a renewed sense of purpose. Right as it explodes into a Brazilian pieces and scatters across the world of FEZ's many nodes. You then travel across a gorgeous, diverse, open world, and even across time, in what appears to be an exploration of the theme of eternalism, the belief that all points in time are equally tangible and real, as opposed to the more commonly accepted growing block universe theory, in which the past and present are known to be real, while the future is not. Time is a flat circle. As you explore the world of FEZ, you may feel a sense of déjà vu, as familiar areas visibly travel through different periods of time at your command. Outside of the bit of beginning exposition, there are plenty of hidden messages, creepy owls, and alien monuments, but even after completing the game, no real narrative. The more I think about it, I'm pretty sure this was intentional, that the developers wanted to leave much of the interpretation up to the players themselves. Among the theories are that the primitive zoo race inhabited what they saw to be a 2D world before they were visited by a squid-like alien race, gifting them the ability to see the world in 3 dimensions. I'm not totally convinced of this myself, but again, that's more than likely the point. There's a lot of really cool dark tones throughout the game that I had hoped would have been explored and explained more in the sequel. But after a classic internet debate, Fish cancelled FEZ 2, much to the surprise of the rest of Polytron, and said he'd take the money and run, leaving game development altogether. Sometime later, Phil was hacked and responded by announcing he was selling the rights to FEZ and Polytron, which renewed my hopes for a follow-up, and for my friends to have less reason not to try it. You know, because any money after that would not go to Phil. As far as I can tell, though, he never went through with it, and is still carrying on being himself through Twitter, while the game enjoys moderate rolling commercial success. The game makes use of the concept of forced perspective, at first glance seeming like a charming little 2D platformer, until you're given the ability to spin the world around 90 degrees at a time, revealing previously unseen doors, footholds, and other secrets. There are even a few platforming puzzles in New Game Plus that require you to change the angle while in mid-air, which stressed me out ad infinitum. This style could easily be akin to the sort of thing you would see in games like Minecraft, but at a higher bitrate that had me literally stopping to smell the flowers and get a better look at the carefully placed aesthetics. I even swam out beyond the map's looping limits in hopes of finding even more unexplored landscapes. Oh, come on! This game's soundtrack is incredible. It's a chiptune, retro, synth-style dreamscape composed by Rich Disasterpiece Vreeland, who also provided the game's ambient sound. The soundtrack seamlessly changes with the in-game day and night cycle, and behaves symbiotically with the strange and often creepy little game world to a degree that firmly implanted this game into my dreams, and the soundtrack onto my iPod. The puzzles didn't just stop with the game, oh no, there are hidden stereographic images in the sound files, which are more or less Easter eggs that don't really lend any extension to the gameplay itself, as much as they do to the whimsy of the project as a whole. It's a great game, I loved it, and I know my opinions may seem overly positive by now, and everyone is certainly entitled to their own, but I myself physically have trouble stomaching negative attitudes, behaviors, and choked down reviews that show just how jaded the critic has become and unable to really enjoy any facet of life. I genuinely hope that I never become this person, and I ask that you just give new things a try once in a while. You never know just what new things you may discover about yourself or the world around you. Also, you should totally subscribe to this channel right now!